Hi, everyone. Justine Froelker here, author, speaker, certified Daring Way, and Dare to Lead Facilitator and corporate trainer. And we're here for our March series, and we're going to talk about how you can't give what you don't have, how you can't live out what you can't name, how you got to serve yourself first before serving others. Controversial topic, especially with some groups, for sure. With groups like mothers, with caregivers, with big, powerful, important bosses. So this first week, you cannot give what you don't have. I'm going to start with love. I've obviously been teaching that for years because I've been in some capacity of mental health for over 20 years, which just basically means I have taught people how to cope with their stress more effectively, communicate better with those they love and lead, and really how to own their whole story, which all of those things really require you to do this courageous work of learning to love yourself. And the toughest part about this is our parents did the very best they could. They did amazing with what they had. And most of us, especially of a certain age, didn't grow up in homes where we were taught how to love ourselves well, how to take care of ourselves well. And we probably didn't have good models of it either. We didn't see our parental figures loving themselves well or taking care of themselves well. And so you must learn to love yourself well in order to love others well. And that's oftentimes if those of you who do follow on the Justine Froelker author speaker page on Facebook, you get a self-care tip 5 days a week. Self-care was a huge piece of my own recovery after our failed infertility journey, and I had to dig my way out of the deepest, darkest hole of grief of my life. And so it started with self-care. It started with 5 things on a Post-it that most of them were human obligations, but when you're in the deep, dark hole or you've never practiced self-care before, you got to start somewhere. And then it became more and more of really filling myself up. You are not an endless black hole where you can keep stuffing your unprocessed emotional pain. You have to put water in your well. You can't give from an empty well. And so learning to love yourself first, for a lot of us, means beginning with practicing self-love in the action of self-care. And so you're I guess I love myself. I don't know. Or I have no idea how to love myself. No, I don't love myself. Okay, well then practice in the action of self-care. So those are things like deep breathing, journaling, practicing gratitude, moving your body with exercise, drinking enough water, getting enough sunlight, getting enough sleep, making lists if that's what works for you, meditation or prayer if that's what works for you, doing affirmations in the mirror or writing them down, listening to music, doing something creative every day with your hands is huge. And so when those actions of self-care become these ways that you choose to love yourself well in the tiniest bits of the day that then begin to leak over into your world. And your people, the people you love and the people you lead every day, will see that. The people who care about you, the people who you're leading, can see that you have nothing left to give. They can see that you are burnt out, that you are an empty well. And yet you're trying to love and lead them well. You got to first love and lead yourself well first. So I start this series off with the action of self-care, because that helps us practice self-love, because I wasn't shouting around years ago, especially when I was digging my way out of the deep, dark hole. I love myself so much. I fought hard to love her. At first had to fight hard not to hate her. It took a long time to love her. And we can say how sad that is over and over and over. It's kind of the world that we live in. It was definitely not how we were created. So how can you this week love yourself well first in order to love those you lead and love well second. I have a lot of videos and resources and articles and self-care tips and graphics and writings on all of my platforms: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and of course my website, JustineFroelker.com. And I would love to hear what you think, and I will see you next week. Thank you for being here.